How Pablo Escobar spent his billions. Many of us have fancy dreams about what we would do if we had a lot of money, but what do you do when you have more money than you can deal with? While it is impossible to know exactly how much of a money pile draw King Pablo Escobar was sitting on at the time of his passing in 1993, it is estimated that his net worth was $30 billion. That is 59 billion in today's currency. We will have a sneak peek at how he spends these billions, but then first, do like our video, subscribe to our channel. In 1976, Escobar helped to found the Medellin cartel in his native country, Colombia. The cartel's primary business was exporting cocaine and other really good drugs. Escobar's fortune grew quickly, especially as he began to eliminate rivals and expand operations. He was innovative in finding new methods of drug smuggling and willing to take risks that other bosses wouldn't. One of his famous smuggling techniques was hiding cocaine in airplane tires. Depending on how much product pilots flew, they could earn as much as $500,000 per day. By his late 20s, Escobar had obtained sole control of the Medellin cartel. From the mid-1980s through early 1990s, the cartel was incredibly successful. At its height, it pulled in an estimated $420 million a week, or nearly $22 billion a year. Some 80% drug businesses around the world was facilitated by the Medellin, especially monopolized cocaine smuggling to the US, as 15 tons of cocaine enters the US every day. For all the Americans dealing in cocaine, 4 out of 5 were doing it big because of the Medellin cartel. Despite his money being gained through illegal bins, Escobar was featured in the Forbes list of international billionaires for 7 years straight, from 1987 to 1993. In 1989, he was listed as the 7th richest man in the world. As you can imagine, Escobar had a crazy lavish lifestyle. He partied hard and owned countless luxury cars as well as 15 planes, 6 helicopters and several boats. That's in addition to the fleet of vehicles and submarines he bought for drug smuggling. Yeah, he owned 2 submarines. Escobar purchased a soccer team and dozens of luxury houses in Colombia and throughout the world. His main home was a 7,000-acre estate known as Hacienda Nápoles, named after Naples, Italy in the jungle, just a few hours from Medellin. Reportedly, Hacienda Nápoles cost around $63 million. The huge main house had every luxury a guest could wish for. There was also a separate party house. The estate had swimming pools, stables filled with expensive horses, a soccer field, an airway, tennis court, a sports car course, a bullfighting arena, artificial lakes, a vintage car collection and dinosaur sculptures. Last but not least, Hacienda Nápoles had a private zoo filled with about 200 animals including zebras, hippopotamuses, giraffes, elephants and lions. Many of the animals were smuggled into Colombia through Escobar's drug plants. To top it off, the entry road leading to the Hacienda Nápoles estate had an arch done with a replica of a single-engine airplane that had carried Escobar's first load of coke to the United States. Among the several properties Escobar owned in Florida was a minimalist mansion in an exclusive Miami Beach neighborhood. The 8-bedroom house with glass walls, wraparound terraces, expensive lounge desk, outdoor kitchen and an infinity pool. Best yet, the 30,000-foot property was situated on a waterfront with an incredible view of the downtown Miami Beach skyline. There was Escobar's secret vacation party spot, built on the quiet rural La Isla Grande, just outside the Colombian coast. The luxury complex consisted of a mansion, waterfront department, palm tree courtyard that surrounded an enormous swimming pool and a helicopter landing path. The estate had more than 300 well-appointed rooms for guests. Reportedly, even the bathroom had solid-built shower heads. Escobar's most famous property was a prison. However, it was a prison like no other. By 1991, the glamour of Escobar's life was beginning to pall next to the extreme violence. Many enemies wanted him dead, some even placing a bounty on his head. Escobar turned to the Colombian government and after 6 months of serious negotiations, he was able to work out the deal. Escobar will go to prison, but he will get to choose the location. Entering prison will give him protection from possible assassins as well as prevent him from being extradited to the US. Escobar designed and built his prison, the luxurious La Catedral or the Cathedral high in the mountains above Medellin. Unfortunately, La Catedral was called Club Medellin because it was more like a resort than a prison. Escobar's bedroom featured a circular rotating bed and his bathroom had a private jacuzzi. The property included a soccer field, a discotheque, a bar, a large patio and an enormous swimming pool with an artificial waterfall. La Catedral also had an office with cellular services, radio transmitters, computers and a fax machine which allowed Escobar to continue to run his business from prison. While at La Catedral, Escobar regularly hosted drug and booze-filled parties. Often, friends, family, prostitutes, professional soccer players and other celebrities would visit. Aside from his crazy life, Escobar poured a lot of money into charity work. Keenly aware of his public image, he started to generate goodwill. He donated to churches and hospitals in Medellin and other towns. He built soccer fields, parks and paved roads. He established food programs and also created a reforestation program. Escobar even built a new neighborhood, Pablo Escobar, from scratch in Medellin with 1,000 homes for families who previously lived in the slums. Cynics viewed this act as Escobar buying public loyalty and building a place where he could hide drugs, guns, and money. According to some locals, Escobar would occasionally show up in the town square to hand out money. He also once dressed as Santa Claus and handed out presents to children. His charitable acts earned him the nickname of Robin Hood. He even got himself elected to Colombia's Congress in 1982 through his public service reputation. At this time, the authorities were just beginning to grasp the scope of his criminal enterprise as the public wasn't yet aware. The Minister of Justice condemned Escobar and got him removed from the position. Later, Escobar retaliated by having the minister killed. Allegedly in the late 1980s, Escobar offered to pay off his country's national debt of $10 billion if he would be exempted from any extradition treaty. Colombia declined the offer. Despite his lavish lifestyle, extravagant purchases and charitable donations, Escobar simply wasted a lot of money. Yes, he wasted. It was definitely a case of more money, more problems. Many months, Escobar took in so much money he couldn't launder it fast enough. The Colombian banks refused to touch his dirty cash, so he stashed some in Swiss accounts. At this time, he was spending $2,500 on rubber band for his cash each month. Piles of cash simply sat around in the warehouses. Escobar was losing 10% or $2.1 billion due to store paper money being shredded by rats or destroyed by the elements. Escobar started hiding money all over the place. He dug holes and buried piles of cash in Colombian farming fields, caves, and also stashed money in the walls of cartel members' homes. After often having his hitmen hide money on his behalf, Escobar would kill them, making sure that nobody else knew where the money was buried. In 1992, after he murdered some rivals and buried them on the grounds of La Catedral, the Colombian government decided to move Escobar to a real prison. Catching wind of the plan, Escobar and his family went on the run, alternating between various safe houses. On a cold winter's night while the family was living in a hideout in the Medellin mountainside, Escobar's daughter Manuela became hypothermic. Escobar reportedly burnt $2 million in order to keep her warm. The Medellin cartel began to crumble under pressure from the authorities and rival drugs. Eventually, the law caught up with Escobar and he was gunned down during a shootout with Colombian National Police in December 1993. Most of Escobar's immediate family continued to hide, worried about rival gangs including the Los Pepes and the Cali cartel. At first, the Escobar family was able to buy out an entire floor of hotel and have guards protecting them around the clock, but this soon proved to be too expensive, especially with no money coming in. Eventually, a lot of the Escobar family moved to Argentina, where due to limited funds, they lived an ordinary middle-class life. After Escobar's death, Los Pepes and the Cali cartel were able to steal some of Escobar's property. They also forced Escobar's family to sign over liquid assets. Meanwhile, the Colombian government was able to recover several of Escobar's cash stashes, especially when authorities rounded up members of the Medellin cartel who spilled the beans at some locations. The Colombian government seized Hacienda Nápoles, La Catedral, the mansion on La Isla Gigante, several other Escobar properties. The majority of the animals at Hacienda Nápoles were transferred to regular zoos, but due to all the trouble of transporting them, 4 hippopotamuses were left behind in one of the lakes. The government then ignored the property for many years. Treasure hunters, fueled by rumors of riches hidden under the property, tore down some walls of the main house. In 2007, the government transformed Hacienda Nápoles to a theme park featuring life-size dinosaur models, family hotels, and a water park. Escobar's hippos have multiplied and are currently up to 60, while they are popular tourist attractions. They are upsetting the local ecosystem and have damaged nearby farms. Authorities are attempting to control the population. La Catedral also lay vacant for many years, and eventually residents of the area scavenged it, taking bathtubs, pipes, and roof materials. Fortune hunters destroyed walls and dug up the ground, but no money was ever found. The property has since been rehabilitated by Benedictine monks who have turned it into an old folks' home. The mansion on La Isla Grande is being reclaimed by nature. It is a destination for adventurous travelers who want Instagram-backed rides. In the US, authorities have seized the majority of Escobar's property, including the Miami Beach mansion in 1987, long before he died. The house was eventually sold, and more recently in 2016, it was torn down. While being erased, 2 hidden safes were found. One was stolen before it could be opened, and the owner of the house moved the other safe to a bank for security. He has never uncovered the contents of what was found inside. Over the years, people have found hidden stashes of Escobar's cash and gold bars. In 2014, a farmer found $600 million buried in plastic burrows in a field he was digging. The money was seized by the Colombian government. As Escobar kept a lot of money in hiding spots to himself, a lot of them are still out there undiscovered. Cash deposited in a Swiss bank also lies unclaimed, as only Escobar knew the account numbers. Does this make you want to go treasure hunting? I am honestly considering digging for probably a remnant of Escobar's drug empire. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell.